Hey everyone, I'm really excited about today's topic because I'm going to dive into talking about what to put on your table if you're having a table at a baby fair, baby expo, community event. This is something that comes up so often. I see in the doula marketing group, my free Facebook group. If you're not in there, go join that group. People ask this question all the time. And something you might not know about me is that for several years, this is what I did. I produced mom and baby expos in the New England area, and I'll share more about that in a minute. But first, I want to say you are invited to the Birth Worker Retreat in January, Clearwater, Florida. This is the event I put on with Jody Condon of Hip to Heart and Caitlin and JD from Be Her Village. It's so much fun. At this point, it's on our calendars. This is just what I do in January. I go to Florida. We host the Birth Worker Retreat. This is for any doula, sleep consultant, lactation consultant, any perinatal fitness, anyone working with perinatal families that, pregnancy, birth, and postpartum year. This is a chance for you to hang out with us, walk on the beach, get a little Florida sunshine in the middle of winter. We just get through the holidays, and it's so nice to have this to look forward to after that slump of the holidays. And we just kick off the new year together. There's so many great sessions. We have a great lineup of speakers. So to get all the details, head to thebirthworkerretreat.com. It's January 20th through 22nd, 2026 in Clearwater, Florida. I hope to see you there. It's always just a great time. It's somehow relaxing and rejuvenating and just the best. When I first started my postpartum doula business, I was a few months in and I was realizing, wow, I really have to market myself. These clients don't just start knocking on my door. And you all know I had that marketing background, so I was here for it, but there wasn't anything. I was from my media buyer, media director background those days. If you look at the target audience you're trying to reach, and then you're like, okay, what magazines do they read? What TV shows do they watch? What websites do they go to? That's where we're going to put our ads. But I lived in a smaller town, and there were no magazines for the pregnant women in Dover, New Hampshire. There were no TV shows just for pregnant people in Dover, New Hampshire. So I was like, where do I market my stuff? And then all of a sudden, local yoga studio I saw was putting on a mom and baby wellness sampler. So I put up the money to have a little 6-foot table there, and it was a really sweet event. And I was so excited because it was for pregnant and new moms, and it was, I don't know, $50, $60 to have a table. And I had so many great conversations. I met all the other vendors, and I was so excited. I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do to get new clients. I'll come to this event every year. It'll be great. And I went over to the owner of the yoga studio. I was like, thanks for having me. This was so great. And she's like, oh gosh, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. She said, this is the last one. It's just too much work for me. She's trying to run her yoga studio. And I said, you can't. This is the only thing that I have to promote my business. So to make a long story short, at the time I was married to my husband, and he worked for this big trade association and ran their trade shows, huge trade shows. So I was like, listen, this lady doesn't want to run this mom and baby wellness sampler. Will you help me? He was like, yeah, I could do that with my eyes closed. So he and I took over this mom and baby wellness sampler, turned it into eventually what we called the Seacoast Mom and Baby Expo. We grew it to this big annual event nearby, and people started coming from other cities nearby in other states, and we need this. So over the course of a couple years, we expanded to Portland, Maine, Worcester, Mass, somewhere else in Massachusetts. I can't even remember. We had 4 or 5 of these going. And this was my very first go at creating a business that gave me location and time freedom. I thought, wait, if we just run all these events, and actually then my husband lost his job. So I was like, this is going to be our business. We're going to have multiple mom and baby expos. We could take this model anywhere. So anyway, then a little thing called COVID happened. So that just put an end to all of that. But I learned so much from, first of all, producing these events. Some of them were really big, and seeing so many tables, booths, setups, all the things. So I want to use this episode to give you my tips on what I learned about what to do and what not to do at, let's call them baby expos. But any community event, whether, if it's the local craft fair or if hopefully there is some kind of family wellness, community baby shower, baby expo, baby fair, something like that in your area. If there is one for pregnancy and baby stuff, go for it. You know me, I say you don't need to really spend a lot of money promoting your business, but this is it's so targeted that if you have an event where there's going to be pregnant people walking by, you want to be there. And the biggest advice I have for you is I tell this story. This happened at the Portland Mom and Baby Expo in Portland, Maine. I think we had close to 100 vendors. We had the whole pipe and drape, like everybody had a 10 by 10 area. It was a big thing. And we would accept 2 or 3 businesses from the same industry. So we had 2 different, I think, financial planners from 2 different companies. And we put them on opposite sides of the floor. So one came, he had the whole table drape. He had this like prize wheel that people could stop and spin and get a prize. He was out standing in the aisle saying hi to everybody, shaking hands, holding babies, like just working the crowd. And he was having fun. Like he was just loving it. You could tell he liked what he did. He liked talking to these new parents about the fact that they needed to start financially planning. So he had people all around the booth. He was having so many conversations. And then because I was just spending the days walking around the floor. And so I noticed him, and then I noticed this other financial planner that was a couple rows away at the same event, same audience, and he was just sitting in the back behind his table, and his table was super boring. There was just a couple of like brochures out there and some free pens, and the brochures were like, plan for your future. Like, it's just so boring. And he was sitting in the back, not engaging, on his phone, just boom. So at the end of this event, I think it might have been a 2-day event, the first guy that was out in the aisle talking to everybody came up to me and he was like, here's my deposit for next year. He said, this was the best event. He said, I got so many new leads. I had so many great conversations. I can't wait to go home and follow up on all these new clients. Thank you. This event was so great. 15 minutes later, I'm walking by the other financial planner who does the same. They worked at different companies, but offered the same services. They were, again, same event, same day, same audience. They were just each in a different aisle. So same variables is what I'm trying to say. The only thing different was that second guy sat in the back. And he came up to me and he was, yeah, this event wasn't very good. I won't be back. I won't be recommending this. He was like mad at me. And I just laughed because I was like, buddy, I didn't say this, but I was like, your competitor over here just got 100 new leads and wouldn't put any effort in to engaging with your potential clients. Like, I can't hand them to you. So anyway, that story stuck with me, or that experience for me stuck with me. And I share that story all the time with doulas and I saw it over and over again at these baby expos that the doulas or whoever, chiropractors, the exhibitors who were meek and shy and would just stand there didn't get the engagement that the people did who said hi, asked questions, smiled, had fun snacks or a giveaway at their table that was engaging. You have to, when you do these events, first of all, people are walking by. You have 5 seconds to get their attention as they walk by your table. So you need to have something that is eye-catching, but also you need to just say, hey, hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, do you have any questions about being a doula? Or do you have any questions about, do you know what a doula is? Or I would say, hey, great to see you. Thanks for coming. Oh my God, right here you can enter to win a free spot in my upcoming prenatal yoga class series. And they'd be like, oh, wow. And then they stop and then you start chit-chatting and you make a connection. Okay, so I have a list of 10 things to do if you are exhibiting at an event. And number 1 is to keep it simple. It is so tempting, and I did this. First time I did an event, I had handouts about every aspect of my postpartum doula services and every prenatal yoga class that I taught, and I brought all the books that I had ever read. My table was, I had a 6-foot table. Every single inch of it was covered with information because I wanted to just prove I knew what I was doing. But like I said, people are just strolling by and they're not going to stop and read all your worksheets that you've printed out. You need to keep it simple, white space on your table, and something that is eye-catching. And I'll get into that later. Just have maybe one pile of your rack cards and a couple other little things. So really resist the urge to go overboard and have every piece of paper that you might possibly need out on that table. Number 2, and this is huge, is use this as a chance to build your email list. Because again, you only have seconds to possibly make a connection and hopefully start a conversation. But if you can gather as many people's email addresses as possible, you can continue the conversation for the next few weeks and months via email. So the best way to do this is to, number 3, acknowledge that email address is valuable. Collect emails as because you're raffling off a prize. So like they have the chance to win something, or everybody who signs up gets a 10% coupon code to use on your website or something. Give them something in exchange. Don't just be like, oh, sign up for my newsletter. No. Sign up here to enter to win something. So when I taught prenatal yoga, I would give away a spot in my prenatal yoga series that was valued at whatever, $100 or something. And it was no skin off my back. I was already going to teach the class. So if I had someone coming for free, that didn't really affect me. The first year I did this, I gave, $100 off a postpartum doula package I might have done a free postpartum visit. And that was me giving 4 hours of my time away. So give away something that doesn't really cost you much time or energy. So if you don't teach any classes or have anything like that, I love to do $100 gift card to a local restaurant. Have a baby moon date. Go on a date at a great local restaurant before you have your baby or after. So something like that. Something of value. So this also is a great way to make that connection. As people are walking by your table, say, hey, enter here to win a free date night at Latello's downtown. And then as they stop and then they're filling out the form, You can say, yeah, I'm a postpartum doula and I love this and it's important to me that my clients are staying connected, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so number 4 is back to that story I just told you. Be proactive and open. If you are sitting down behind your table, just looking at your phone the whole time, that's not being proactive. You want to stand up because everybody's walking by. You want to be at their eye level. You want to smile. You want to look friendly. You want to say hi to people. Be very careful of asking when people are due. I would always joke, like, you had to be 9 months pregnant walking by, and I'd say, and filling out the form to win a spot in my prenatal yoga class before I said, when are you due? And I'd always make a little joke. I feel like it's safe to ask that at a Baby Expo, but anyway, you don't want to put your foot in your mouth, but say hi, be friendly, be open. And then number 5 is that it's not about you. Make it not about you. Make it about them. Yes, I know you stayed up all night printing rack cards. You were ironing your tablecloth and making freebies, goodies to give away. And you want to make your money back on investing in this table. I could see myself and people that are like at this table just like talking to everybody, like going overboard with the proactive, talking to people like, hey, I'm Darcy, I'm a doula. Oh my gosh, have you hired a doula yet? Be friendly and proactive, but say, hey, how are you feeling? Oh my gosh, look at this little cutie baby you're pushing by. Ask them questions about, once you know they're pregnant, where are you planning to give birth? Don't just start by going on and on about you. Ask about them first. And you might have heard me say this. I say this all the time in terms of the copy on your website. It's the same thing. We think we get a table at a baby fair, or we make our website and we think like we come out with this proving energy. I have to prove that I am the best doula in the world. And so I see this all the time on websites like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm certified in this, duh. So same thing at a baby fair and on your website. Lead with how you can help them. Lead with making it clear that you know what they're going through. Okay, and then number 6, before the event, practice your elevator pitch. Before you even get there, polish up your 1-minute spiel about what it is that you do. You want to describe your services in a very succinct and exciting way. And you're going to say this over and over because you only have those 20 seconds that they're walking by to make a good impression. And there's nothing like a Baby Expo to help you nail down that elevator pitch because you are going to say it over and over again throughout that day. And number 7 is don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with all the other exhibitors and vendors at the event. Sometimes these events are a bust because they're not produced by someone that is really good at marketing. So attendance might be a little low, the families buy, but sometimes it's even more valuable to connect with and network with every single other exhibitor there. Like chat with all the acupuncturists and chiropractors and photographers. Everybody else is there. You can make some really good connections and use this as a chance to build out your referral network. I noticed at doing all these various expos is that the doulas who paid, if this was a legit event that costs a few $100s to have a table at, the doulas who paid for that, that's like instant credibility with the attendees, but also with the other vendors. There's going to be a lot of doulas who don't believe in themselves enough, don't take the leap, don't take the risk, don't put the money forward to have that table. So again, if there is an event in your area, go for it. Here's another idea. Tip number 8 is to ditch the table. So you're going to have a You're going to have a marked off amount of space that you can have, and everybody's going to put a table. But maybe you, to be eye-catching, you have some birth balls. You have a nice comfy chair where a mom could sit down and breastfeed. You have a table and chairs for toddlers to come and color. Or a lot of people, one great thing I saw was people would bring a little kiddie pool, fill it up with those plastic balls, and then you are a toddler magnet. And while the kids play in the ball pit, you get to talk to the parents. And that can be a really great strategy. That's a really great way to break up the monotony of table after table if you create some kind of fun space within the space that you're allowed to have. And number 9 goes along with that of entertaining the toddlers, having things in your space. So again, the ball pit, coloring sheets, snacks. One year this was really a great draw. I had just a little water bubbler. So, everybody had chocolates on their table. Everybody had little snacks, but everybody was thirsty walking around that hall. So I put a couple cucumbers and lemons in this water bubbler, and that was how I ended up meeting all the other vendors, because they were thirsty too from talking. So they were all coming over and refilling their water bottles. So things like that draw people in so they stay there for a second so you can give them your elevator pitch. And then my last tip is self-care. These days are long when you're at an event, and it's a lot of work to drag all your stuff in there and drag it all out and then be on all day or for however long the event is. So dress for comfort. This is not a day to wear high heels, and because you're going to be standing for a long period of time. So wear very comfortable shoes, drink lots of water, eat really healthy, clean, high protein meals and snacks. Resist the urge to run on coffee and sugar, because you will get that sugar low crash halfway through the event and miss out on talking to all the people that go by. So you want to keep your energy levels solid. And then pack some mints. You're doing so much talking. You want to make sure you have fresh breath. And if you're someone who loses their voice, if you do a lot of talking, bring some cough drops, whatever you need, honey, tea, things like that. And then keep some healthy snacks in your booth. I would have a bag of almonds so I'd feel my energy levels crashing. I could eat a couple handfuls of nuts to get myself going again. So I hope these have helped you. The other thing you can do months in advance, weeks in advance, is do a little shopping locally or Vistaprint. Find out areas where you can print up the postcards that you'll need if you need more business cards. If you want to invest in a tablecloth with your logo, if you know you're going to be doing some of these events. I used Vistaprint for all that, for the table runner, for those pop-up signage that rolls down into a little roll. There's so many things like that you can do. But if this is your first, you don't have to have that. But I hope that this is helpful. And get out there and get active in your community. I can't tell you the human connections that you can make, again, with the attendees and the other exhibitors, will go really far in your doula business.